Hello one and all! This is my review, reaction, and cut content discussion of Arifureta Season 3, Episode 13, Thank God She's Still a Pervert! And that is a very, very strange episode title, considering last episode ended with Hajime saving Shizuku, who is very much not a pervert, and the fact that it is the name of the second chapter in Volume 10, and as of the start of this episode, we're still on the last chapter of Volume 9. But I think what's going on here is that they're basically switching the second and first chapter of Volume 10. They're skipping the coverage of it because the second chapter is much shorter than the first, and they still need to handle, the rest of the whole Shizuku fight here before they get to it. So I'm expecting this episode to be the Shizuku fight, wrapping that up, the Suzu fight, discussion with Ryu, and then the Tio fight. Hopefully they don't cut out anything too major though, because that is a lot of content in a very, very short amount of time, and honestly, it is all good. It is all really, really good. This fight, one of my favorites in the series, and that chapter about, Ryu, Suzu, Tio, it's fantastic. It gives such depth to some side characters and, a main character like Tio, but still, it just adds so much to all of them and makes me see them in an entirely different light, and I can't wait. I really can't wait for it. So let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Yep, Hajime broke her sword. Hajime fully broke her sword. Which feels like it should make this for a very easy fight for Shizuku, as, she's a swordswoman facing off against a swordswoman who doesn't have a sword. Though I think she ends up replacing it somehow, some way, using the magic of the labyrinth. Did you just shoot at her? Stay put for now, and then he fired at her. I guess that could be like a net or something. I mean, in the light novel, he actually has his crossbits go out and face off against her, keep her distracted. Not win the fight, though. I mean, if Hajime wanted to, he could have very easily killed Mirror Shizuku as soon as he entered the room, but he didn't, because he still wants her to win this fight. He still wants Shizuku to be able to clear this trial on her own and get the ancient magic. Episode 13, Thank God She's Still a Pervert. Such a weird title. Such a weird title given how we're opening. But so let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 bullet holes! Huzzah! Yeah, here we go right here. Yeah, don't spit it out, seriously, because what Hajime just gave her is freaking goddamn ambrosia. Yeah, remember the stuff that he used to not die when he fell into the labyrinth? Way back in episode 1. Yeah, well, he's used up most of it at this point, and he has, I want to say, like, maybe 3 or 4 vials left total, and he's just choosing right now to give one to Shizuku, not even to save her life. If he wanted to save her life, he could have just made some restoration artifacts and given that to her, but instead, just so that she can clear this trial, just so that she can, get back into fighting shape and manage to overcome this adversary on her own. That's how much Shizuku means to Hajime, that he's willing to give up such a valuable resource just to help her get stronger. So of course he's like, drink like you depend on it. I think that's supposed to say drink like your life depends on it. But yeah, that is a very valuable, very expensive thing he's giving to her right now. Also, she has lost an insane amount of blood, so yeah, her life really does actually depend on it. Oh god. Shizuku's happy. Shizuku is so freaking happy that Hajime came and saved her. Oh wow, that is... She's actually touching his face, and he is surprised. He is very, very surprised by that. Yeah, girl, that girl has it bad. Seriously, seriously bad. And in fact, while this is all happening, Hajime says, I have the strangest sense of deja vu. This feels exactly like what happened with Aiko-sensei and the princess. I'm gonna pretend not to notice because I don't want to deal with this right now. Meanwhile, Shizuku, really genuinely thinks this is a dream and that, there's no way this is real. But she's like, okay, if it's a dream, I don't care. I just want to stay like this forever. Hajime is so uncomfortable, so genuinely uncomfortable with Shizuku clearly having affection for him. Again, Hajime is not a dense. Okay, Hajime is dense, but from the scale of like isekai protagonist, he is a goddamn genius. He can tell what's going on here. He just really, really doesn't want to admit it. Also, I do love the copy. She's like standing there. I mean, like I said, light novel. Hajime has like a bunch of crossbits out there, keeping her distracted, keeping her fighting. Whereas here, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna stay here and wait because I know I can't beat Hajime if I tried. Okay, they're including this. They're freaking including this. Thank you, God above. Yes, the ultimate weapon, the ultimate power that can ensure Shizuku's victory. The pink Power Ranger mask. Oh, I love you. I absolutely love you, Hajime, Shizuku, and anime creators for including this scene. The emotional music, like the building up, like this is it, this is the moment, we're gonna have this big, awesome fight right here. It's also very Power Rangers, or I guess in Japan it's like Super Sentai, Super Sentai? Something like that. Yeah, so according to Hajime in light novel, wearing this mask will triple her reflexes and perception, making this fight a cakewalk. And of course it's pink because he knows that Shizuku loves pink and cute things. And even the copy is disturbed in this moment, which I just so absolutely love. But of course Hajime knows there's no way that Shizuku will actually wear this thing, and it's more like he's prodding her to say that she can do this fight on her own without it. That's needlessly high performance. I mean, she's not wrong. That is incredibly, overwhelmingly broken. I mean, that's basically the same effect as giving someone, like, the ability to use Limit Break. So, yeah, good for Shizuku, I guess. Yeah, right there. Right freaking there. Hajime gaslit her so well. Oh, I love it. Yeah, light novel Shizuku is actually way, way more just broken by this experience, fully crying for the first time Hajime has ever seen, and saying it's possible, saying there's no way she can do it. So Hajime decided to give her a nice little kick in the butt and remind her, like, yeah, no, you can do this. Make her admit to herself that she could do that, she could win. Like I said, the sword regrew because it's a magic labyrinth. Huzzah. But also what Hajime said is true. The copy isn't the entirety of herself. The copy said, like, oh, you never wanted to train with a sword. You just wanted to be a pretty pink princess. God, that was hard to say. And while that is true, it's also true that Shizuku loved doing well with the sword because it made everyone in her dojo super happy. They were so proud of her. They were so excited every time she won a tournament or something like that. And when it came to, like, helping other people, saving them again and again and again, while she was annoyed that people kept turning to her, they kept begging her for help, she was also just happy when they were smiling. They're like, thank you, Shizuku, you saved me. That was something that she appreciated. That was something that she really enjoyed. And the copy, the constant whispering in her voice again and again, the constant whispering in her head again and again and again throughout this entire labyrinth made her forget about that, tricked her into thinking that her entire life had been miserable and lonely and awful when it really hadn't been. And it convinced her that when she eventually told Kaori, like, hey, I'm in love with Hajime, Kaori would view it as some sort of betrayal, like, you're awful, you're terrible, how could you do that to me? When in fact Kaori has repeatedly throughout her entire life told Shizuku to be more selfish, be more honest, to go after the things she wants. So clearly Kaori would be proud of her if she announced, like, loud and proud, like, I'm in love with Hajime! There's literally nothing she'd want more than that. So yeah, now that Shizuku's realized this, she'll be able to face the, mirror image of herself with her full power, accepting the negativity and accepting her own negative emotions and moving past them. Oh God. Oh, Hajime, you are... I get that you're trying not to flirt with her, but this is a very, very flirty pose. A good-for-nothing would only turn upon it. I don't really like the wording here, but basically what Hajime is saying is only a stubborn idiot would try to face this challenge head-on without embracing it, without dealing with any other negative emotions, which is literally what he just did. He's basically saying, like, Shizuku, you're better than me. You can actually handle this like a real human being instead of the insane, idiotic thing I just pulled off. There we go. There we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think the light novel literally says this is exactly what Shizuku wanted to hear most in the entire world. Because Shizuku, I mean, she is a badass warrior, and she is proud of that. She doesn't hate the fact that she's strong. She is proud of the amount of work she's put in. She's proud of the... I'll watch over you. He actually said, I'll watch over you. Oh my god. Yeah, there we go. That is it. That is literally exactly the thing that Shizuku most wants to hear in the entire world. Because Shizuku, she doesn't hate her strength. She doesn't hate the fact that she is a badass ninja warrior. That is something she's proud of. She's proud of her strength. She's proud of the work she's put in to obtain that strength. The thing she hates about herself and the world and just everything is the fact that she needs to be strong. Whatever situation she finds herself in, she needs to either be able to handle it on her own or she will fail and possibly die. That pressure, that is too much. It is too much for her to deal with. But what Hajime is saying right now in this moment is, even if you fight and lose, even if this copy manages to beat you somehow, some way, you won't die. Your failure won't mean anything. I'll step in, I'll save you, I'll revive you, and we can do the same thing over and over and over again. Basically, I will support you so you don't need to do this on your own. And that is exactly what Shizuku needs to hear. It's exactly what Shizuku has always wanted. In this moment, Hajime truly is her knight in shining armor, but he's not a knight who fights all her battles for her. Rather, he's a knight who makes sure that she won't lose, who makes sure that she won't fail, who does support her exactly as she needs to be supported. My man Hajime, you seriously just made this girl fall insanely more in love with you. She was already in love with you. She was at like a 9, and you just cranked it up to a 13. God dang, you are a Casanova. These sound like marriage vows. These legitimately sound like marriage vows. Seriously, you'll protect me when I need you, right? Like, that sounds like something Hajime would say, like, I vow to protect you when you need me. I vow to get you back up even when your heart breaks. These legitimately sound like marriage vows. God, I love you, Shizuku. Again, I love the copy, just standing there. I think it works better in the light novel with, like, the, crossbits facing off against her and holding her back. But her just, like, standing there, just impatiently waiting is just so much funnier to me. Yeah, sorry, Mirror Shizuku. There is no way our Shizuku is dumb enough to fall for that again. She knows who Kaori is. She knows how kind and loving Kaori is. And she knows that Kaori wants more than anything in the world for Shizuku to start being selfish and go after the things she really wants. She'll be thrilled about this. Also, can you really call it a rival in love when Hajime has a full-blown harem at this point? Yui, Shia, Kaori, Tio. I'm gonna say they're the main 4. Shizuku joining that lot isn't gonna really change things all that much. And even then, they don't really even fight for Hajime. I mean, Kaori and Yui fight for Hajime, but the rest of them are pretty happy with the current situation. They all really love and support each other. I mean, even Kaori and Yui really love and support each other. They just show it by fighting. Yeah, that's definitely Shizuku's big fear in this moment. Basically, if she asks Hajime, like, hey, why'd you save me? Why'd you give me the ambrosia? Why'd you give me that big speech? All of that, Hajime will respond, oh, well, if you die, it would upset Kaori because you're someone she cares about. Rather than, oh, I did it because you are someone I care about. You are someone who is special to me. You have a place in my heart. And that's what Shizuku is really aiming for. To be special to Hajime. To be someone he cares about. To be someone that he worries about, not because she is the friend of someone he cares about, but because he cares about her on her own. And that's something, she's going to want to try and overcome once this is over. She's going to want to try to find a place inside of his heart. Yeah, importantly, the reason why she's putting everything into one strike is because even though Hajime gave her the ambrosia and it healed her wounds, she lost an insane amount of blood, and after this one strike, she'll basically pass out and not be able to move for a very, very long time. And I'm not sure you're going to see it here, but Hajime actually says, like, if a hero is someone who shows up at the exact last moment to save the day, I don't want to be him. Because it is true, Hajime has a tendency to show up just a second before complete and absolute disaster. When he saved Kaori and Shizuku from the demon at the bottom of the labyrinth, they were literally seconds away from being killed. When he, saved Kaori after Hayama stabbed her, she'd already been stabbed by Hayama and was very, very close to death. In fact, she was already technically dead. And now in this moment, when he stepped in to save Shizuku, the copy Shizuku was literally just a heartbeat away from cutting Shizuku's head off. So Hajime again and again and again is coming in at the exact right moment to save the day, and he is seriously sick of it. He's like, no, I'd rather come before we reach that point. Oh, I love that. That is such an anime trope, seriously. I mentioned this before, but the author is a hardcore nerd, and he just loves these kind of things. And so do I, honestly. So, who do you think? Who won this match? Who managed to come out on top? Ooh, love Shizuku without the ponytail. That looks really good. I mean, like ponytail Shizuku, but just with her hair long is really great. But again, that is such a trope. Like, one person manages to, land in a blow and it, nicks the person or tears off their hairband, but the other person got fully cut in half. So it's very clear who won here. I'd fall for your swordsmanship anytime. Come on, Hajime. Again, you realize that she's falling in love with you. Don't encourage her. Seriously. Yeah, like I said, Shizuku lost a lot of blood in this fight, and she is very weak right now. God, I love this. I love this right now. Seriously, Shizuku is being just so flirty and honest with herself, and it is god dang adorable and just well deserved. She deserves the chance to be selfish. Well, she has lost a tremendous amount of blood. That's certainly helping, but yeah, after this trial, she decided to be selfish, and just like I said, good for her. Oh sweet, they're including this scene too! I mean, I was hoping they would when I saw that her hairband got cut by the copy, but yay, awesome! Yeah, this is another thing. Hajime doesn't actually have healing magic on his own, but what he can do is make artifacts which have almost, I think, any magic that he has learned, any of the ancient magics he has learned, so it's very easy for him to make something that would just heal her instead of just healing her on his own. Oh, wow, that is way nicer than I was expecting. Oh, that is beautiful. It is absolutely not what is described in the light novel, but still, that is beautiful. In the light novel, it's described as leaves dancing in the mist, which I wasn't really sure how they were going to represent that, but this certainly isn't it, but still, I love this. Oh, that is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And it really has that feminine charm that Shizuku has always wanted but been afraid to embrace. Just good for her, seriously. Oh, come on, Hajime. Be honest for freaking once. You know that is not what she meant. She wants to know how it looks on her. In fact, in the light novel, Hajime offers to have the crossbits carrier, and she basically says, no, you're going to carry me yourself, or I'm going to tell everyone about your junior high years when you were a hardcore Chunin edgelord. So yeah, she literally blackmails him into carrying her, which makes more sense, but still. Oh, this is adorable. Oh, God above, they are seriously including almost every single line from the light novel here. I was not expecting this, especially since we still need to do with, like I said, Suzu, Ryu, and Tio this episode. Yeah, Hajime is someone who admires willpower, resistance, hard work, all of that. Same things that Shizuku, in fact, admires. So he sees her hand, he sees the amount of work that she's put into practicing her sword again and again and again, and he admires it. He believes that it is a good hand. In fact, a far better hand than those back in Japan who can only use theirs to work chopsticks. Oh, actually, he says, it's a hand that's a lot prettier than one that can only hold chopsticks. Oh, I love that. My man, Hajime. I think at this point he is just like willfully flirting with Shizuku. He has to know what this means. He just has to. Here we go. Here we go. Girl, drop that line. Drop that line. Drop that line. Yes! Yes, yes, yes! Oh, you deserve it. You absolutely freaking deserve it. Yeah, Hajime, little dense right here. She fully confessed to you. You fully ignored it, fully missed it. Oh, God, I love it. I love that delay a realization. Because, I mean, he knows something was a little bit off before. But hearing her just come right out and confess her love to him. He was not expecting that. He was fully not expecting that. Good for you, Shizuku. You fully and absolutely deserve it. Alright, two things here. One, though, there is actually a conversation in the middle of this where Shizuku asks Hajime why he saved her. And Hajime admits, like, hey, it's not just because you're friends with Calvary. Rather, let's see, exact lines. It's true that it was partly for Calvary's sake, but not completely. You're a good person. I'm not going to abandon you. Which allowed Shizuku to realize that, she existed somewhere in Hajime's heart. She was actually someone not special to him, but getting there, on the bridge of being special to him. Okay, interesting. And so in light novel, we actually saw the whole dream between Eri and Suzu. And also, yeah, now Eri looks like, I believe the term used is a dirty apostle. Yeah, a slightly dirtier version of a god's apostle. Yeah, so in the light novel, this chapter starts off with like a full flashback of Suzu and Eri back in Japan, people watching. And, Suzu actually says, like, oh, Eri, isn't your hobby watching people? And that kind of shook Eri because that is true, but Eri never intentionally let that slip to Suzu. She never intended for Suzu to realize that she was like watching and observing people all the time and trying to understand them better so that she could, use them and manipulate them. And the fact that Suzu saw that really freaked out Eri because she realized that Suzu is smarter and more observant than she gave her credit for. And yet, Suzu never confronted Eri about the truth, about who she really was, about what she was really planning, about all of that, even though Suzu had some sneaking suspicion that something was going on there. Oh, I love evil Suzu. She is adorable. I mean, I think they're all adorable, but oh god, she is just so precious. Yeah, the light novel actually says that because barrier masters, just make barriers, neither of them actually move for this entire fight. They're just like standing still, waving their arms around to make barriers that attack each other again and again and again. Okay, not sure how much we're going to see of this in a flashback. We really should get a flashback of this, but basically, Suzu was the child of parents who were workaholics and basically never saw her. And then when they did, Suzu was so mad that they never spent time with her that she just pouted and spent time with them. She basically ignored them because they ignored her. And her caretaker, the one who basically raised her entire life, told her, hey, why don't you just smile more? Smiling will fix everything. And it kind of did. She pretended to smile when her parents were around, and they were just so happy, so ecstatic to see her smiling. They were happier too, and they tried to spend not necessarily more time with her, but more quality time with her, which led to her actually being happy and led to her actually getting, more friends at school because she was always smiling and upbeat, and people liked that and wanted to spend time with her. That's basically Suzu's entire backstory in 30 seconds. Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, she got all these friends just by smiling, just by being happy, just by pretending that everything is A-okay. But the truth is, those friendships were incredibly shallow because she never showed her true feelings and never dove into the other person's feelings. It was always just like, hi, that's awesome. Just smiling, upbeat happiness without really, going into who these people really are, without really diving into their true nature. And when it came to Eri, the person who was literally her best friend, Suzu realized, okay, there was more to Eri than she's shown. There was another aspect to her personality that she never reveals to anyone, and yet Suzu didn't dive in. Suzu didn't question it. Suzu never even went over to her house because she was afraid of being rejected. She was afraid of digging too deep and finding something that annoyed Eri and, causing their friendship to end. Though at the same time, she also didn't realize that Eri was, a sociopathic killer. She just figured like, oh, Eri is just like me. Eri is someone who's afraid of being rejected, so they pretend that they're just this different person. They pretend to be mild and meek and all this, just so they don't rile anybody the wrong way. Yeah, oh god, I love the expressions of evil Suzu. It is adorable. But yeah, so like I said, Suzu believed that Eri was like her, that she was someone who hid her true personality because she thought that was the best way to deal with other people, to make friends, to avoid being lonely. Just pretend to be, this other person. Eri pretended to be like this mild, bookworm, while Suzu pretended to be this happy, upbeat pixie dream girl, who was also a bit of a dirty old man. Suzu is a lot, honestly. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, Suzu, at least back in Japan, didn't realize Eri was a monster. But once they came to this new world, once they started interacting with all the people here, Suzu started noticing, okay, something is very, very wrong about the way that Eri is acting. And if she'd done something about it, if she'd gone to her classmates, gone to Shizuku and been like, hey, just a heads up, I think Eri is trying to murder all of us, then Shizuku could have stopped not only the tragedy, not only the death of the students, and all the knights, but also could have saved Eri, could have kept her from going off the deep end, kept her from doing that first crime that basically made her a killer, a monster, that made her irredeemable. If Suzu had been more honest, if Suzu had really, truly embraced Eri, she thinks there is a chance she could have stopped all of this from happening. No, definitely not interrogated Eri, because Eri would have fully freaking killed her. Light Novel actually says, like, no, you should have gone to Shizuku, because Shizuku could have actually stopped her. Seriously, I love evil Suzu. She is so expressive. Oh, this is amazing, seriously. We're not getting a lot of action this fight, though the barriers exploding all around were pretty cool. But just the dynamics of turning and facing her from different ways, it's so well done here. Yeah, so Mirror Suzu is a little bit bothered by the fact that, she's still antagonizing Suzu. She's still taking her off. She's still poking her again and again and again. And yet, she's not getting any stronger, meaning that Suzu is not rejecting negative emotions. Rather, she's embracing them. Rather, she's overcoming them. Rather, she's managing to actually pass this trial and confront her dark emotions and become stronger as a result. Oh, I love the scowl here. Again, as evil Suzu, so expressive, so well done. But anyway, though, the reason why Suzu didn't say anything while Mirror Suzu kept insulting and berating her again and again and again is because Suzu wanted this experience. Suzu wanted to come face to face with her own sins, to, embrace them and realize, like, okay, this is my fault. This is my mistake. I need to do better. I need to figure this out, because if she can't filter these emotions, figure them out ahead of time, then she will never be able to have that true, honest conversation with Eri. And yeah, maybe saving her is impossible, but still, she wants to, for at least one time in her life, speak with Eri honestly about how they really feel. Yeah, that is Suzu. Suzu is fully admitting, like, hey, listen, if I had been more honest, if I had, truly embraced Eri as a friend, if I'd had this conversation with her, if I'd asked her more about herself, if I dived more deeply into who she truly was, then maybe I could have saved Eri. Maybe I could have, kept all this from happening. Maybe Eri and I could have been best friends for the rest of our lives. I failed. I messed up. I acknowledge that, and I'm going to do better moving forward. Okay, this is honestly one of the coolest spells in this series. I love it so much. Okay, so we didn't actually get the full... Again, love her expressions. We didn't get the full details of it. But basically, what Suzu did here is use restoration magic to restore every single barrier she made throughout this entire fight. 150 barriers that she suddenly rebuilt all at once and then had them all explode. She blew up 150 barriers on Mirror Suzu all at once with such overwhelming and destructive force that literally knocked her back and knocked her out. Also, that happened because she put so much focus on attacking that she literally couldn't set up a barrier to protect herself from the explosion. She went all in on this attack, literally all in. That did not look... Yeah, that did not look great, honestly, from an animation aesthetic. That's just like a cloud of smoke that appears circularly out of nowhere. Don't like that. And again, just clouds of smoke appearing randomly. There's not even an explosion. If there'd been like a bit of fire first, I think it would have looked a lot better. Yeah, that's Mirror Suzu. I hope my feelings can reach her. As in, I hope our feelings, I hope your feelings can reach her. The trials aren't actually evil. They are trying to encourage the people to become better versions of themselves. They're just programmed to do that through a whole lot of antagonism. Yeah, so, light novel, Suzu actually says, "Oh, thank God, I thought I was being kidnapped by an ogre." She is mean. She is genuinely mean to Ryu. And he doesn't deserve it. Ryu is a pretty decent guy, I'd say. Yeah, they kind of need Cavalry or Tio because they're the best healers, and Suzu is pretty beaten up from her own trial. A slob. Light novel, might be a weird translation. Light novel calls him a coward. Yeah, so basically Ryu wants to be the savior, the man who steps in and saves the day, but he knows he has no shot of beating Hajime or Koki, and if he tried, he'd just get his butt kicked, and he's too afraid to actually face that, too afraid to face the absolute obvious truth that no, he is weaker than both of them, so he just doesn't bother trying, just doesn't bother competing against them because he knows it's pointless, he knows he has no chance. And also, you know, back in Japan, back when Koki saved people again and again and again, or at least try to save people, but let's say the few times he actually saved, like, girls from delinquents, the girls always thanked Koki. They always praised him, like, "Oh my God, you're my hero, I love you so much." And not once did they ever thank Ryu. He was just the sidekick. He was just the person who just happened to be there, not the one who saved them, even though he often did a lot of the fighting on his own. But, you know, they loved Koki because Koki was handsome and awesome and cool. And Ryu, I mean, like I said, Suzu just mistook him for a freaking ogre, so... Yeah, poor Ryu, but that's what he wants. He wants to be the hero, and he just knows that no matter what he does, he'll never achieve it, and he's just too much of a coward to try. Oh God, seriously. Yeah, Suzu also decided to be a bit more honest with herself moving forward. She's no longer going to just put on a happy smile and be like, "Oh, that's so funny. Oh, alright. Oh, you can do it. Don't worry." She's going to, you know, be a little sarcastic and snarky because, you know, she wants to be able to actually talk to people as a real person rather than just a happy-go-lucky pixie magical dream girl. Okay, so we are skipping something kind of important here. Basically, at the end of... Basically, Ryu's trial wasn't about overcoming those emotions. Rather, his copy offered him powers. Copy basically said, "Take my power. I will make you 10 times stronger, and then you can have whatever you want." Which is a very interesting way that the trial can work. Basically, if you have a weakness, if you have some flaw, some fear, whatever, it'll poke at that. It'll say, "Oh, you're a bad person. Oh, you did this. Oh, you did that," over and over again. But if what you want can be solved with power, it will offer you that power. Insane, overwhelming power. I mean, you'll fail the trial, but at least that way you'll have the power you want to accomplish your dreams. And this does make sense because, you know, if the gods are actually trying to trick you and manipulate you, and the thing, your weakness, is that you want more power, the gods will offer you that power. And I think the hope is, like, okay, you'll realize that even if you have that power, it doesn't actually solve anything. You're still who you are deep inside. And if that's true, Ryu did solve it because Ryu realized, like, hey, if I take this power, oh, also Ryu is secretly in love with Yui, but anyway, Ryu realizes that, like, hey, if I take this power, the first thing my power-riddled brain will try to do is basically flirt with Yui, try to take Yui from Hajime, in which case Hajime will murder me. I don't care how powerful this labyrinth makes me. I don't care how much, like, ancient magic they pump into my veins. There is a 100% chance that Hajime will murder me, so there's no point. If I take your hand, if I take your deal, I will freaking die. And so he just, kicked his butt. Though not easily, as he has a dislocated shoulder, 5 broken ribs, and a broken arm, and he's coughing up a literal bucket full of blood. So he very, very much needs a healer. And also, while this is happening, while he is in just so much pain and so broken, he is still carrying Suzu, which... Oh, I love Ryu. I really do. He deserves some spotlight. Okay, so now we're dealing with Mirror Tio, who's basically, pointing out to Tio, hey, your people, the Dragonborn, they were the best of the best. They spent literal generations making a perfect society where everybody could live in peace. The poor, the rich, the weak, the strong, everybody lived in perfect and absolute harmony. We saved people, we protected people, we were wise judges and counselors, and yet they all turned against us. Humanity, beastmen, demons, everybody turned against us in a heartbeat. Yeah, that's another thing about the Dragonborn. Because they could turn into dragons, because they had the power of such beasts, their entire creed and philosophy and just everything about them was focused on remaining as morally upright as possible, as never being swayed by their emotions, as being, logical, calm, reasoned, but also just kind and courteous to everyone. They never wanted to be treated as beasts, so they made sure to act as human as possible, as kind and just loving as possible. Not gonna lie, this is definitely not the best fight of this season. Mirror Tio, this is not well animated. This is very clearly not well animated, but I'll give it a pass because the dialogue is still pretty good. Okay, here we go. We're back to actually, like, in-person Tio. That looks a whole lot better than this dragon thing. Okay, loving Mirror Tio. I think I like Mirror Suzu more, but I still like Mirror Tio. Hey, and Suzu and Ryu are here to give her some emotional support. Good for them. That being said, we have all of like 3 minutes to solve Tio's entire trial, which is a bit disappointing. I feel like that could use a bit more time to really go into depth of everything, but 3 minutes should, I guess, be enough. Oh yeah, for sure. You're really feeling all of her fear and hatred and anger and all those negative emotions just bottling up. I'm sure you are. Oh, lovely. Yeah, it's kind of, easy to forget, but, Tio's backstory is literally that her entire nation, the nation that her people spent generations after generation building to be a perfect utopia, was wiped out by people who were tricked by God. She watched her loved ones be torn apart, killed, their bodies desecrated by people who were laughing and having a grand old time. She watched all that happen. She watched her mother be executed. She watched her father go out to die while she was like 8 years old or something. She was a god-dang freaking child who was forced to watch all of that and deal with it. Not even lash out, not even, give in to her anger, but rather just focus on being morally righteous and good and all of that because that's what it meant to be a Dragonborn. God above, Tio is a very, very sad character to me. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I love this line right here. So you might remember back in Season 2, Aiko-sensei and Tio kind of blew up a church. And back then, Aiko used her fermentation powers to build up a lot of gas inside the church. And then Tio blew it up with her fire breath. And Tio was like, wow, I wasn't expecting such a big explosion. No, Tio understands the basics of how fermentation works. She was able to guess, like, okay, if I do this, the entire church will be blown to smithereens. And I will be very happy about that because I hate the church, because they're the ones that led the assault on my people, my family, our nation, and all of that. So yeah, that's a bit awkward because, let's not forget that Aiko-sensei is still really freaking traumatized from that. And while she was like freaking out, Tio was doing a little dance in the corner like, yay, 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 I blew up at church. Yay, 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 I did it. As that was exactly what she wanted to happen. She just didn't tell Aiko that. Yeah, also, Suzu, Ryu know literally nothing about the history of the Dragonborn. Literally all that's said in the history books they read is, oh, the Dragonborn existed, and now they don't anymore. Who can say how that happened? Yeah, that's also true. The reason why Tio followed Hajime, the reason why she's partied with him for so long, isn't just because she's a pervert. It's also because she saw Hajime's strength. She saw its power and realized, like, hey, if I go around with this dude, there is a very, very good chance that he will eventually get strong enough to kill God. In which case, maybe I could just, ask him to kill God for me. Wouldn't that be great? Yay! That's also true. That's not even like, oh, I can trick him into fighting God. It's more like, sooner or later, God is going to pick a fight with him, in which case Hajime is going to fight back. So if I, team up with Hajime, eventually this will lead into a fight against God himself, and I would very much enjoy that. Yeah, so like I said, some of the trials, they aren't even just like, hey, we're going to test your weaknesses, we're going to make sure that you can overcome them. They're also like, hey, we're going to tempt you with an insane amount of power. In this case, the Mirror Tio is basically saying, like, take me into yourself, and you will no longer be bothered by your conscience, your morality, anything like that. You will become a cold-blooded killer, and together we will be able to manipulate and trick Hajime into fighting God. We will make this happen, we will get our vengeance, and we will burn this freaking world to the ground for what they did to us. I love this. I love this, like, pep talk they're giving, because what they don't realize is the fact that they are witnesses here. And if Tio does end up taking this deal, does end up accepting this awful, insane, evil power, then they need to be wiped out before they can tell Hajime, oh yeah, by the way, Tio made a deal with an evil entity who said that she was going to trick you into fighting God. Just a heads up. They don't know that, though, and they are just encouraging her because they really do actually love Tio as a big sister, and they don't want to see her get corrupted. There we go. That smile, that fearless smile right there. God, I love Tio. Here we go. This right here. This is the creed of the Dragonborn. It is what they say to themselves to center. It is what they say to center themselves. It is their entire philosophy for living. Yeah, really, because, the whole point of this trial is the copy gets weaker as you overcome your negative emotions, as you, fight through them, as you manage to become a better version of yourself. And yet Tio has said literally nothing for this entire trial. She's just fought back and forth against her copy, who keeps getting stronger, which to the copy means like, oh, I'm winning, I'm managing to trick her, I'm managing to manipulate her, I'm managing to rile her up, I'm managing to make her angry and she's trying to reject me. Except that's not what happened at freaking all, and Tio is a goddamn beast. No, not a beast, a Dragonborn. Yeah, right there. They are in love. They are absolutely in love. In fact, they say here, this not only is the return of Super Tio, but rather she evolved from Super Tio to Super Tio Empress Edition. As she exudes, not aura, but rather the majesty of a ruler, the weight of royalty. Then we are not beast, but dragon men! Oh, the copy's terrified. The copy is genuinely terrified of what it's seeing right now because it breaks all common sense. Seriously, Tio broke this trial better than Hajime did, which is absolutely insane. Yeah. Tio was pretending to be controlled. Tio was pretending to have lost herself to the anger and all these emotions of the labyrinth. She was intentionally letting the copy get stronger, letting the copy feed on those emotions, just so she could turn things around, just so she could immediately turn it off and be like, okay, I see. I was able to trick you, therefore that means I should be able to trick God. And she also wanted to make sure, like, okay, there's no cracks in my armor, there's nothing you could say that would actually genuinely bother me. It's all stuff I've heard before, it's all stuff I've thought before, and my will is strong enough that I can overcome it without much difficulty. Tio is so in control of her own will that she just tricked this goddamn labyrinth. That's basically what happened here, and it is freaking insane. Trying to see if she could deceive even God himself. Oh, Tio is freaking amazing. I love her so much. I'm not sure how I feel about Tio with cat eyes. It's a little bit unsettling, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, exactly. Like I said before, the entire creed of the Dragonborn is reason, willpower, all that stuff. So there's no way that Tio would allow herself to be swayed so easily by, her hatred or anger, her desire for revenge. I mean, the hatred is definitely fueling her actions, but she's not allowing it to control her actions. She will never make a dumb move because she's so focused on revenge. She will use revenge to guide her, but she will never be controlled by it. I mean, you're saying have a taste of the fangs of a dragon, but you aren't using your fangs, you're using your fire. Just saying, Tio, you might want to be a bit more consistent with your metaphors. God above, Tio is amazing. She is so amazing. And it was genuinely this chapter where I actually started to fall for her and realized, like, oh yeah, Tio is one of best girls. I still think Shizuku's best girl, but Tio is way, way up there. Probably better than Shia, better than Yui? I'm gonna say better than Shia at least. Yeah, it was cute when they were cheering her on, even though it was fully and absolutely unnecessary. They're like, oh my god, Tio is faltering, whereas Tio is like, oh my god, they think I'm faltering. That's so cute. They are such nice kids. Yeah, and for the record, Ryu has now fallen in love with Tio, and so has Suzu, honestly. Like I said, name of the episode, thank God she's still a pervert, because that is still who Tio is. Despite everything, despite her rock iron, will, reason, all of that, she is still 100% a pervert. And while she is motivated, to follow along Hajime because she hopes that he can, get revenge and kill God for her, she also just really, really enjoys everything he does to her. And at that point, both of them fully fell out of love with her. Oh, Tio, you could be so, so perfect if you weren't a pervert. Though honestly, I do think the perversion does give her a lot of uniqueness. I mean, if Tio was just like a calm, cool, collected big sister, like she is when she is Super Tio, yeah, she'd be great, she'd be cool, but I think she'd be overall the most forgettable character in this series, or at least one of the most forgettable characters in the series. Also, for the record, after this, Ryu insults her, and she basically treats it like he's trying to flirt with her and turns him down. And he is just so utterly, utterly bothered by it. I love it. Alright, so that's the end of the episode. Next episode is... okay. This is unexpected. That is gruesome. That is very, very gruesome. Is this Sea of Trees? Is this Yui? Oh, there we go. There we go. That is Queen Yui right there. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I cannot freaking wait for that. Alright, next episode. The overpowered vampire princess and the godlike rabbit's grand battle. So yeah, next episode gives us a flashback of Yui, who she was before she was Yui. Because let's not forget, and this is very easy to forget too, Yui is not her name. She was not named Yui by her parents. She had another name, but even Hajime doesn't know it because she said, like, after 20 years down below, she wanted to leave that past life behind. She wanted to become someone else, and so she asked Hajime to rename her, and Hajime granted her the name Yui, but that's not her actual name. So yeah, flashback showing who Yui was before she was Yui, and some stuff with Chia. I can't freaking wait for that. Oh god, seriously. That is so ominous. That is so ominous, and I love it so much. Okay, I've been talking a while, but let's talk about this episode. It was good. It was really, really good. I love the fact that Mira Shizuku just kind of sat there and waited for Shizuku to finish talking and flirting with Hajime. Oh, that was hilarious. Honestly, this whole first half of the episode was absolutely fantastic. I was definitely bothered last episode because I felt like they cut out too much from the Shizuku stuff, but here they included almost every aspect of the conversation, except one line at the end where Hajime does admit that Shizuku is actually someone he does care about, that he wants to make sure that she's okay, and that he protected her and saved her because of who she is, not because of who she is to Calvary. That was a great scene. Wish we could have got that, but still. The point here was that Shizuku is choosing to be honest with herself. She's choosing to actually, be who she wants to be. She requested Hajime give her the hair ornament, which looks so good on her. It has definitely that feminine charm that she's been striving to have for a long time, but just, has never been able to embrace because she's embarrassed because everyone expects her to be the warrior, the fighter, all that. And she feels like it would be silly for her to be something else, for her to wear pink, for her to dress cute. I love the conversation about the calloused hands are actually something that are beautiful, are something that Hajime can truly appreciate. And of course, then we got the line, "My girl, Shizuku, you are giving him such flirty eyes. I love it so much." Seriously, Shizuku, so flirty this episode. It was so fun to watch, so happy about it. And I just loved Hajime's just delayed reaction. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I may have mentioned this before, but after this, Shizuku's like, you know what, I'm tired. I'm gonna go to sleep now, and then pretends to fall asleep so Hajime can't complain or criticize or reject her or anything like that. And then while she's pretending to be asleep, she decides to nibble on his neck like Yui does. Seriously, Shizuku went from 0 to 60 very, very quickly, and I'm so happy about it. We then got Suzu's fight against her copy. We found out that Suzu's whole upbeat, happy personality is basically a facade that she put on because her caretaker told her, like, hey, if you just smile, everything will be A-okay. And it has worked for her fairly well. I mean, she's not particularly happy with her current life because while she does have a lot of friends, she wasn't particularly close to any of them. Even when it came to Eri, Suzu knows nothing about Eri's life. At no point did Suzu ever go over to Eri's house, talk about Eri's parents, do anything like that. So it was overall a very shallow relationship, even though Eri was the person that Suzu cared about most in the entire world. Also, just love Mira Suzu. She is just so expressive in a way that I don't think we really got from a lot of the other characters. I don't know, I just saw so much more emotion in her face, and I think the animators might have just really, really liked her and wanted to have some fun with her. Meanwhile, Ryu, his trial is basically like, hey, you want to be the main character, you want to be in charge, you want the girls to see you, admire you, love you, adore you, all of that. And he had to accept that and realize, like, hey, even if I got, like, crazy strong power, I still wouldn't be the main character because Hajime would just murder me. Huzzah! And finally, we got the Tio fight. I was not a fan of the dragon versus dragon. And then, when they turned human, it was just like them standing with their hands up for the entire fight. But still, I love just this constant, insulting Tio over and over again, apparently getting rile out of her as, the copy kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger, only to realize, like, wait a minute, why am I getting weaker and weaker and weaker? You haven't done anything. You haven't overcome anything. Why are you able to control your negativity so well? Why are you able to handle this all so well? And of course, Tio's response, she is a goddamn freaking dragonborn. She is the princess of her people. She is someone who values will above all else. Of course, she'll be able to, restrain her desire for revenge because that's who she is. That is who she is trained to be for the last 500 freaking years. And Tio, she looked majestic. She looked awesome. She seduced, inadvertently, both Suzu and Ryu, which is an impressive feat. And then she ruined it all by showing that, yes, she is in fact still just a pervert. Oh, God, I love you, Tio. Anyway, though, episode ended with a flashback, a flash forward to flashback. We're getting next episode of Yui's backstory. And, oh yeah, we are actually getting a flashback. Thank freaking God. I definitely feel like this episode could use some more flashbacks. Like, Suzu showing how she was the shallow friend to everyone back in Japan. Ryu showing how, even when he saved girls, they only thanked Koki and not him. Tio showing her nation, showing it burning, showing the suffering, showing her pain, showing the anguish she had as a child. Something like that would have been great there. But it looks like, next episode we are in fact getting the flashback. We are actually getting to see who Yui was long, long time ago. Oh, also, that's right, something else I forgot to mention. One of the big things that's mentioned by Mirror Tio is that the lie that was told by a god to turn humanity against the Dragonborn was basically like, oh, did you know Dragonborn aren't actually people? They evolved from monsters, and one day they'll turn back into monsters and kill us all. Oh, did you know Dragonborn aren't actually interested in, being kind, just? They just want to put off that persona so that they can trick us and rule over us. Did you hear? The dragons want to kill even God himself and take his place. They want to be the one true rulers of the entire world. And with those simple little rumors, that was it. Not only humanity, demons, beastmen, they all fully and completely turned against them, even after centuries of them doing everything in their power to make people trust them, make people believe in them. And that just really, really broke Tio's heart. More than even her kingdom falling apart, it's the fact they were betrayed. It's the fact that even after all the work they put in, it just wasn't enough to convince the people that they were, that they were wise, cool, collected people who were ruled by wisdom and, logic instead of a desire to control and destroy everyone. All right, those are my thoughts on this episode. Please let me think all this down below. What was your favorite trial so far? Suzu, Shizuku, Ryu, Tio, Hajime. What do you think's going to happen next with Yui and Shia? Why is the episode called The Overpowered Vampire Princess and the Godlike Rabbit's Grand Battle? What does that mean? And again, who's your favorite character? Who is best girl to you? Because right now, I'm definitely saying Shizuku, but Tio definitely went up a few ranks. Please let me think all this down below. And until next time, peace!